Hey folks, Remo back. How you doing out there today? We are out on my new Snowrunner mod map project. That's Highway Haulin 2, which is definitely an ode to the first one for any of you that have been out and played on it. It's a little more civilized look at Snowrunner. We got a lot more road systems and more about hauling, trying to channel that ATS kind of feel in Snowrunner, although it's so different. The physics and so on. But anyways, first one went over so well, we're doing this again, and I actually released the map. It's out for PC right now on Friday evening, and I actually went through and did an update this morning on a couple, we'll say, flaws I found that needed to be addressed fairly quickly. The first one was I was messaged and notified that I forgot to add in the medium and long log loading area, which has been added, so that will allow you to complete the tasks that need it. That was kind of a deal breaker. I saw that I missed a bunch of UI string setups, so they were just showing, and you see that in the PTS of the real game. Sometimes it gets through, but it was just where the name of the task said UI whatever so and so it wasn't added into the string file, and it couldn't call it up and put the name up. So I fixed a bunch of those. I don't think there's any more, but I probably missed something. I also added in a little bit more stuff around some of the buildings. That it was just stuff that I had been kind of working on, so there's a bit more of that. I still haven't started any of the extra sounds or any of that, but I'm going to have that hopefully out in a week and a bit, and that'll kind of coincide with any of the existing problems that any of you find and let me know about. I can fix them up. I had a few names labeled wrong on the map. It gets a little confusing when you add the localization, just sheerly because you're using the placeholder name, not the actual name of the task, so it kind of all looks the same. Anyways, got that sorted out. I think more or less the map, you can play through it without any issues. I fixed a couple model build things. For some reason, when you do the road fix and you deliver the trailer, my trailer didn't disappear, but it is set to that in game. So let me know if when you complete that task the trailer stays on the back of the truck. It should disappear. It's supposed to in the coding. It just didn't for me. Could be something I did. I don't really know. So anyways, as far as what we're up to today, we're going to be completing the dive right in task, which is filling a couple of pools around the map. Excuse to deliver some water. I can see a few more water delivery tasks being added when I get to the second map, which is what I'm going to be working on after I get this buttoned up, and I may even kind of start doing a bit of layout in between. I've already kind of made up a bit of a rough copy list of things that I want to join in to this map with, and I guess overall the second map, which is going to go out this side of the map, the lower highway, so you're going to have the highway connection and you're going to have the small road we just came past there. That tunnel is going to take you over to the second map, and it's going to be focused on the drilling, refinery, that kind of setup. So I think I mentioned it in the last video, but what I'm going to kind of channel is a bit of the Pembina oil fields map, which this one is not going to be nearly as muddy. I'm going to keep this whole region doable with vanilla trucks. Now there may be some muddy spots that are a little tough for them, but my goal is, and I have on my playthrough here, we're in the GWC Executioner for the video, but I've actually done quite a bit of it with vanilla trucks because it's kind of fun to run them around on the roads, and that is a goal of this map, is to keep it vanilla playable so it's a little more useful for everyone. Not one of my Tassie trailing type maps, that very mod truck focused map. The other thing I want to add in on this map too is going to be a railroad area that opens up a lot of opportunities for tasks, and some of the bigger things, it'll be a spot to pick them up. A few of the loading areas on this map are going to change. Picking up cargo containers is at the crafting center right now. That's going to be in a different spot on the other map. So I've just kind of stacked things around this map, and that's something to keep in mind. Like, I hope this is an enjoyable little map to play by itself, but a lot of it's set up to join in multiple spots, and I've just kind of filled in some of the cargo for now to play on this single map, and it's going to change up a little bit. A lot of these tasks are going to end up being the same, but we're going to have different loading areas. I've found, just starting to play through on it right now, you go over and get metal rolls a lot on the first few tasks I've done. If I had have looked ahead a bit or even thought about it, I wrote the tasks. One of those things where if you're going to go get some, take an 8-slot trailer and bring a whole bunch back, although you don't know where they're going to end up. But Map 2 will introduce a few other loading areas, so I may spread out a few places with metal rolls, but a limited amount, so you have a few closer picks, and the ability to have a big loading area in one spot, but a few easier ones that you can use up for a bit until those supplies run out. Now, as far as crafting, I think when I introduced the second map with some of the drilling stuff, it had been suggested that like the drill bits maybe is something that you craft. I have a couple crafting tasks in this map. I don't want to make it craft metal beams. That's something you use a lot. I want to make it like in this one, I have 2 specific things that you have to make for tasks. Basically, I don't want to overdo the task of crafting. It's something that seems like it can get kind of irritating pretty quickly if you overdo it or make it for simple things like wooden planks. You have to go get logs every time. Just seems like added difficulty that is annoying, not fun. And as a fellow gamer, always have been, I truly appreciate not putting in artificial fun. I hope you guys don't find that my maps do that. I really try to avoid just needless run around tasks other than kind of building in the world. I don't know. I just hope you all enjoy this. It, as I said in the last video, I get a little bit leery if I've done the job well enough, if it's interesting for everyone. So I'm sure everyone has the same kind of hang up. So you put a lot into these, and over time I've definitely learned to accept the fact that you can't please everyone, and some people aren't going to like it, but I think the vast majority of people really enjoy it. And everyone out in this community that leaves messages and spends the time, I mean, it means a lot. Keeps me going, keeps me confident. That's a huge thing building these, is to just, like, I've seen people ask in videos and stuff how I come up with these worlds and that, and I other than copying a specific look, it's all off the top of the head. I don't even really lay the maps out that much beforehand. It's just kind of a putting the puzzle together and going with a feel in terms of what I kind of want it to look like and what I can actually do. We're not doing a very good job on this reversing here right now. That's another thing that I've noticed, and I did it intentionally, but there are a lot of spots on this map where you're going to have to back your way in or out. Sometimes you just need to make the decision what you want to do, but I definitely tried to work in a lot more reversing Sorry to anyone that's not that good at it. I think it's kind of fun to be able to have to move the trailer around with that discipline. It just makes it more challenging, a little more realistic. I mean, everything's not laid out for a great big truck like this, and sometimes you got to deal with it, right? So that first water delivery worked. That was one thing. I've only set up the water delivery system a couple times, and I wasn't sure if it worked. Everything looked like it should, but hadn't tested it yet. It's good though. The other delivery is a hotel pool, and it's a little bit bigger pool. I tried earlier with the GGMS water carrying trailers, and for some reason couldn't get them to be recognized by the water loading station, and I ended up just using this one, the in-game one, because I know it works. But it holds 3,700 and we need 45, so that means this is going to be a 2-tripper. Anyone that's been out on the map so far would love to hear any good or bad stuff you have to say about it so far. Suggestions are always welcome, and I am starting the second map very soon. And any of the ideas or things you like, don't like, they all go into making the next one. Try to make it more fun for all of us. This little road's slightly tougher than I anticipated it being, but I'm going to leave it. There's an off-kilter section here that was completely unintentional, but it makes it a little bit touchier coming through with the longer trailers. I am pretty happy with the world so far. There doesn't seem to be any areas that I've run past that really stutter the frame rate or anything. So I think I have a pretty good helping of trees and bushes without. I think that's what really, you get those spots that you just get huge frame drops. I think there's too much foliage and grasses in around one area. I remember there was a couple spots in one of the vanilla Russia maps that used to just tank the frame rates anywhere you're around it. I have a few spots in some of my maps. Just a little more aware of it now, so I try to build so that it doesn't happen. But I haven't found any on this map yet. In general, it seems to run pretty good. Make it a little bit sunnier out. Don't need this gloomy weather. That's what it's been like around my place for a couple weeks now that we're well into the fall weather. All the leaves are gone. We've seen -3, -4 a couple times. I didn't empty the hose out the other night and blew the end off the hose nozzle. Rookie. Winter is definitely on its way in my part of the world, that's for sure. So this one we're actually dragging up the road by the garage and down at the end of that road. It's down by the garbage factory. It's what it's called in the game, the models. It's a bit of a trash station up there. If you haven't been out, there are some bin deliveries. In other maps with the bins, I made them manual unload, so you had to have a crane. Now, I wanted to do that again with this one, but you have to make the cargo spawn on that task to be a manual unload. And I didn't want to make that many garbage cans spawn. If you've been on the Slip Rock Peaks, I did it that way. And you have 4 spawning garbage cans that specifically you have to pick up and deliver. And you can't, the way I laid that one out, I think I figured out how to put them all out at the same time, but I could only drop them one at a time. And I want you to be able to take as many as you feel like. Anyways, the manual unloading is same with, there's a task where you have to craft something and deliver it. And I wanted to make it manual unload, but it has to be a spawn cargo on a specific spot. And I wanted it to be a craftable thing, so there aren't really any crane jobs in this, but I'll work some in the other map. Or when it comes in, there's going to be more tasks on this map in the region. There's a bunch of stuff I didn't add in. I just kind of threw in a good chunk. I've said it before in other videos. You basically build each map individually with its own kind of local tasks for that map. And then when you put the 2 maps together, you build contracts that interweave between the 2 maps. And then you kind of have layers to it. So you have each individual map, and then you have contract tasks. So think of this as kind of its own little map, and it's going to get a bunch of stuff added in later on, basically. And as soon as I have a rough layout on the second map, definitely throw a video up of it and keep you all in for the bulk of the build, maybe a little more in-editor stuff if you're interested. Rather than just me doing some runs in-game. It's not as interesting, doesn't look as nice, but I guess you get to see the other side of the equation is part of it too, right? Anyways, this driveway is just up here a little bit. Then we can see if I inputted all this stuff properly. I don't think I've actually driven in here with a vehicle, so hopefully everything looks decent. Any other ideas for delivering water? I know somebody mentioned in the past about maybe a building on fire, which I thought maybe I'll work in, but any other ideas, throw them out there. See what I can do. Alright, let's see. Beautiful. Looks like it worked. I gotta go get a bit more water. You take it easy. We'll talk to you again real soon.